Hello dear students, let us discuss about today one more new topic, carbon and its compounds and in that electron dot structures. Today we will discuss how atoms are going to attain noble gas configuration. Generally atoms attain noble gas configuration by gaining of electrons, losing of electrons, sharing of electrons. Today we will discuss about sharing of electrons. The chemical bond formed between two atoms by sharing of electrons will be called as a covalent bond. What is covalent bond? A chemical bond formed between two atoms by sharing of electrons. Today we will discuss how covalent bond will be formed by sharing of electrons. First example, hydrogen molecule. We all know atomic number of hydrogen is 1. That means there is only one electron in hydrogen, that is in K shell. So the number of electrons in its outermost shell is 1. But it tries to attain helium electronic configuration because helium is the nearest noble gas of hydrogen atom. So it need one more electron to attain helium electronic configuration. So what hydrogen will do? One hydrogen will be having one electron with it, then one more hydrogen we will take. I am representing it with another color. So these two hydrogen atoms, each one will be having one electron, but every hydrogen, both the hydrogen atoms need two electrons in it outermost shell. Then what these two hydrogen atoms will do, each hydrogen atom will give one electron each, so that there will be two electrons like this. First hydrogen atom and the second hydrogen atom, both the hydrogen atoms will give their electrons. Now these two electrons will be shared, mutually shared by both the hydrogen atoms. Now first hydrogen will have two electrons in its outermost shell and second hydrogen will have two electrons in its outermost shell, so that these two electrons will be mutually shared by both the hydrogen atoms. And here, because of one electron pair shared between two hydrogen atom, there will be a single covalent bond between two hydrogen atoms, so that H2 molecule will be formed. So in this way, by sharing of electrons between two hydrogen atoms, a single covalent bond formed between two hydrogen atoms, hence H2 molecule will be formed in this way. Hope you understood this. Now let us discuss about one more example, that is oxygen molecule O2. Here also we all need to know the atomic number of oxygen. The atomic number of oxygen is 8. So the electronic configuration will be, we will be having two shells here, because in K shell we can fill up only two electrons and the remaining 6 electrons will be filled in L shell. So the outermost electrons in oxygen is 6. There are 6 valence electrons. But to attain the noble gas configuration, nearest noble gas configuration, it requires 2 more electrons. So here again two oxygen atoms. Let us take, this is first oxygen atom in which 6 valence electrons are present, and one more oxygen atom, again here also 6 electrons will be present. Now these two oxygen atoms, each one will give 2 electrons. So here first oxygen atom gives 2 electrons and second oxygen atom also gives 2 electrons. Let us represent this by another color to understand better. Now total how many electrons? 4 electrons will be mutually shared by both the oxygen atoms. Now this is first oxygen atom, and this is second oxygen atom. We'll be having two more electrons left over here and two more electrons will be left over here. Even in second oxygen also same way. And remaining four electrons from each oxygen atom will be shared by both the oxygen atoms. So here what is happening? First atom is giving two electrons and the second atom is giving two electrons. Total these four electrons, two pairs of electrons are shared between two oxygen atoms. Now once you check in the first oxygen atom, if you count, there will be 8 valence electrons. Again in the second oxygen atom also will be having 8 electrons. Like this, oxygen will attain its nearest noble gas, that is neon configuration it will get. So like this, O2 molecule will be formed. O2 molecule, oxygen molecule will be formed, and here if you observe there will be a double bond between oxygen and oxygen molecule. There is a double bond between oxygen and oxygen molecule. Now coming to nitrogen molecule, to understand it again you have to know the atomic number of nitrogen, that is 7. So if you write electronic configuration, in K shell, 2 electrons will be filled and the remaining 5 electrons will be filled in L shell. So the outermost electrons, number of electrons in its outermost shell is 5. So here also nitrogen tries to get 8 electrons in its outermost shell. So to get 8 electrons in its outermost shell, same again like before, two nitrogen atoms, one will be having 5 electrons and the second nitrogen also will have 5 electrons in its outermost shell. So here each nitrogen atom will give 3 electrons. First nitrogen will give 3 electrons and the second nitrogen also will give 3 electrons. So first nitrogen here 2 electrons and in the second nitrogen also 2 electrons, but remaining 3 electrons will be shared by both the nitrogen atoms. We can represent like this. So total how many? 3 pairs of electrons are shared by both the nitrogen atoms, so that a triple covalent bond will be formed between nitrogen and nitrogen. In this way nitrogen molecule will be formed. So next, now all these are H2, O2, N2, between hydrogen and hydrogen, oxygen and oxygen, nitrogen and nitrogen. Here one more example. Here is a covalent bond between hydrogen and chlorine, HCl molecule. So as we know before, we have to know here both the atomic numbers. Hydrogen atomic number is 1, then there is only one electron in its outermost shell, whereas chlorine atomic number is 17 and the valence electronic configuration is 2, in L shell 8, in M shell 7. So here outermost shell is M and there are 7 electrons in its outermost shell. So here chlorine tries to get its nearest noble gas configuration, argon electronic configuration, whereas hydrogen tries to get helium electronic configuration. So here what happens? Hydrogen will be having only one electron and it will be ready to share this one electron, and chlorine will be having 7 electrons in its outermost shell. It will be ready to share one electron. Now these two together hydrogen and chlorine. This is hydrogen, this is chlorine. Here only one electron is there with that hydrogen, in the hydrogen, that will be shared, whereas chlorine is having 7 electrons. Out of 7 electrons, 6 electrons will be here, but 1 electron will be shared between hydrogen and chlorine. So like this, one single covalent bond, a single covalent bond will be formed between hydrogen and chlorine. Like this, HCl molecule will be formed. HCl molecule will be formed. So hope these electron dot structures you understood. If you like it, let me know. We will discuss further in its carbon and in carbon and its compounds topic. Thank you.